Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is people already in the chat, viewing or watching, not even a second into the live. So thank you very much. I do understand a very nice person that is going to join me. First, a little bit of housekeeping. As always, you know I'm always promoting other channels as well around my level. Doesn't really matter, people that I like or that I don't know, but I think they deserve it. And therefore, today I am promoting Let's Go. Her channel is brand new. She's doing recap videos of the really good videos. I really like it. So go over there and give her a like on her videos and give her a subscribe. I will remind you a little bit later on this again. Okay, so it's at Let's Go Carla. You can use her handle to find her. Otherwise, one of my lovely URL for you. Now, for the people that are new to the channel today, which I'm pretty sure there are so many, you don't know me, therefore I'm going to explain. My chat in general is always very fun, loving, and we're not bash. I have my 3 mods today that are going to look after the chat and help me out so that I can concentrate on my guest. The chat is going very fast, so I apologize if I can't say hello individually like I normally do. Just a second. No, it's okay again. Okay, hopefully. There's a Bridget here. Hello, Bridget. Name. Okay, so that's it. Just one more thing. And that's not here that I will not allow. I won't allow it. Okay. Thank you very much. And let's start. And please welcome my lovely guest. And my name, DOA, Defender of Ants. Hi, Scott.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
And thank you for joining me. I'm really chuffed. Chuffed is a British expression, excuse me. But yeah, no, I really am excited having you here. I've never seen something so crazy here. So thank you for that. But I can't even go and say hello. Normally I say hello individually to my chat people because I go live. But I'd rather have it a bit fun, you know. So I really have to apologize to them all. I start with you. Everyone, I have my 3 mods. Jojo Bananas, Irish Mod, and Fluffy Skrill look after the chat. So please be kind to everyone. Thank you. Scott, now I normally don't write big. Wrote was, I would like to know the man behind the DOA or DOA. So who are you? Where are you from? You know, sometimes your lives are long and I can't watch you in the middle of the night because I am meant to sleep. I do know little bits, but where did you grow up? Look, if you don't want to talk about your family, that's fine. That's none of our business. But what did you do when you were a kid, when you were a teenager? Have you always been a little bit of a bad boy or not? You know, I'm not saying you were. So tell me, in what part of America did you grow up?
I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago in a place called West Chicago. It's about 45 minutes west of the city of Chicago. It was also in Wayne, Illinois, which is a small enclave of a lot of old estates and manors. And we had a tiny little church and a tiny little elementary school called Wayne Elementary. Not very diverse, a lot of rich families, small schools, small church. It had a real good upbringing. Didn't really realize that a lot of people don't have those good upbringings. My family, my parents were together, and so I used to, when I was little, I used to do a lot of fort building. I would build forts all over the place. And I would make booby traps. I would dig holes and put branches over them and have like booby traps all around my fort. And I'd wear camouflage all the time and pretend I was in war. My uncle Dan was in Vietnam, so I had all of his old army military jackets, and I built a lot of tree forts, even all the way up in the high school. Was building tree forts, and about 15 years ago, I actually built a tree fort for one of my friend's dad. I built like a man fort, and
Wow. Come to Scotland and build me a new bathroom. I know you've done one.
yeah, I've done a lot of bathrooms, and I really hated it. But then I did a bathroom for a friend, and we had like blue terracotta talavera, blue talavera tiles imported from Mexico, and we did like a sun and moon theme. And I realized that I'm more of an artist than I thought. I'd done a lot of bathrooms where it was just kind of mass-produced bathroom styles, beige tiles, just a standard. Yeah, I'm not sure how it is in other countries because I really haven't traveled much outside of America. But in America, the interior designers design what everybody wants. They put it on advertisements, and then Home Depot, Menards, and Lowe's, which are the major big box stores, promote that style, that style that's in. And so all the bathrooms being produced are very similar. A lot of them are very similar. There's not a lot of artisticness to the bathrooms. So I did a lot of construction for a lot of years, and I kind of like got burnt out on just the same old over and over again. Where my one friend let me kind of be more of an artist, and so I really enjoyed that. But I hate being rushed, and with the bathrooms, they're usually, especially like if you're in a one bathroom house, there's always this rush to get the bathroom done, and I hate the angst that I get from being rushed, and yeah. So as a kid,
I understand, but don't forget essential.
yeah.
But But let's go back. When you were saying you were building forts when you were a kid, etc. Oh, I don't know how. I'm getting really old. About 20 so years ago, I went to see a friend in Sacramento, and he took me to one of these forts, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in a Western movie." See, was it this kind of forts you were building? Obviously, not that fort you were building.
No, it was just kind of, my father actually built, he like did the framework for my, like I was already building some forts, but my main fort, my father built the framework for it. He kind of put the posts in and kind of set like the framework, and then allowed me to complete the rest of it, which was interesting because I had a couple other friends where the parents built the forts, and they never used them because it wasn't their own work that was put into it, basically. So I'd just find materials from wherever out of the garbage, and then I'd go out into the woods and just build little stands, or take like old deer stands that hunters would have and like add to it. But I always liked all like the little ropes and like the pulleys. And when I was in high school, we built like a 3-story fort, and we were like smoking weed up at the top, but we built like pulleys. We built pulleys that had weights on them so that you could like sit on the pulley and go down 2 stories from the tree. So like like trap doors. I always was like fascinated with like Robin Hood. And there's one of the Robin Hood videos, all the children, the boys are all out in the woods building trap doors, and they're in tree forts. And I don't know, there's something that I love about that kind of wild. So there wasn't anything real like fancy in any type of way. Like I had my friend's father once called me a tree fort carpenter, and I just get things done. So
That's nice. I mean, at least you know what you like to do, right?
yeah, and I always like, people always played like cowboy and Indians, and I always loved like the idea of like Native Americans, and that I kind of like the guerrilla warfare, like kind of like small little attacks on things and then moving and then coming back. And I think that's where I was really like fascinated with the forts. I like, and I always like pretending that I was a Native Americans fighting off American colonizers coming to America, even though like I I am of European descent. I was like, I want to protect this land. And yeah, I just always had some type of weird identifying factor with the indigenous tribes,
I I
and still do to this day.
I like a guy who is Native American. He's an extremely good dancer, but I like their chantings and all that. I love this kind of. I wish I have nothing American in me at all. I'm 100% European. Well, yeah. So you always. Oh, sorry. Um, you always want to be something else, right? Than what you are. But I'm quite happy with what I have. So I'm wondering, what kind of young man were you, or young boy in school? Did you like school? Or
No, I didn't like school at all, but
remind me of my brother. Sorry.
well, when I was in jail 10 years ago for growing weed, and I did 118 days. And I just remember sitting in jail and hearing everyone outside having fun, like playing, or like you could smell every once in a while, you could smell the barbecue, like on a nice, because I was in jail during the summer. And I felt the same way in school, of sitting in the classroom and hearing like the lawnmower going, and people playing, and like just noise and entertain, like. So I always felt like trapped in school. I had nearly perfect attendance most of elementary. Most of my elementary school, like that, my mom, I was like I had perfect attendance, but I never did homework. I remember in 6th grade, I got a whooping from my mom because I had more incompletes than the whole 6th grade combined. And both 6th grades combined, I had more incompletes than them because when I got home, I never wanted to do homework. Like I was good. I was very good in math and science, but not good in reading or English because I had a speech impediment. And so I struggled in those categories, but I tested pretty well, and I just didn't like doing homework. And so I remember my mom whitewashing me one day and being like, "You son of a bitch. How do you get so many incompletes?" And I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be playing in the dirt. I wanted to be building a fort. I just, and I felt like that all through all school. I felt trapped and not able to like just be myself. And so, but I always had perfect attendance. I was like the teachers. I was always like a little kiss up to the teachers. I never really got in trouble. In 5th grade, there was a few times though that I remember in was it 2nd grade or 3rd grade? There was some bullies, the Bovey boys, and they were whitewashing me in the snow. We were playing King of the Hill, and they were whitewashing me, and I bit one of them, and I got in trouble for it. And I was like, I didn't understand why I got in trouble for defending myself from bullies. And they didn't get in trouble. I was the one who got in trouble. And then I remember in 5th grade, I had a teacher that said she didn't like boys, and that she preferred girls, and she gave girls preferential treatment. And so one day I stood up to her, and I got sent to the principal's office, and I made a big deal about it. Like, you said you don't like boys, that's unfair. And like even going into middle school, I had a bus driver who did some stuff, and I stood up to her. So I've always kind of been a little defiant. I've always questioned things when things are like not fair, I guess, from a very young time.
I understand. I mean, look, my brother, for example, so my subscribers know my story. Until the age of 14, 15, he was actually quite small and chubby. And everyone who was doing something to my brother, even I was gonna kick them and I was gonna punch them. No one touches my brother. And I still would do it, even though he's 6'6". And I got into trouble because I was looking after my brother. He's only 2 years younger than me, but that didn't matter. He was my brother, right? So I very rarely got into troubles, but when I was looking after him and I felt like I had to kick someone's ass, I was gonna do it. And by the age of 15, 16, he went from a little bit chubby and small into thin and and I was really upset. I said, that's not fair. I love him dearly, and but he's let me think. He's 56. He still smokes pot. Well, I'm not saying bad things. He never went to prison, but he did other drugs when he was much younger. Very rarely scared of anything, but where he put me in a situation where he was not himself because he was on I can't remember what kind of drugs, and he really scared the daylights out of me because he coming out, and I said to him, don't you ever talk to me like that or treat me like that, because I will not talk to you ever again. He still smokes pot, and I still think that at his age he should scares in the last 4 years, and he still hasn't stopped, even though the doctors told him he should. But anyway, that's another story. We're not here to talk about my brother, but you remind me of my brother, because you want, and in a way that's right, you should, but sometimes there are other people affected for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's in Switzerland. He lives with my mom, which I'm quite happy about it, because my mom is 90 and therefore he looks after her, so I worry less for her. But I forgot what I wanted to say with that. I'm getting old. Yeah, so let's go on. What I know, what you what you come across when you do your life, watch everything you do, because I can't watch people driving for 3 hours and listening to music, and you're not the only one who does it now. Dodge does it, and who did it before? Every life in his car eating food, and I'm like, it's not time to eat here, but I'm getting hungry because of you, you know. Confident Chris, he made me hungry every time, even though I miss him dealing, because he was really fun. But I want, coming back to your lives, you were a bit you're living a life that many people would love to live, right? You live your freedom, you go wherever you want, you have that amazing van where you can sleep in, you live in it. Who wouldn't like to do that? I would love to, but probably the pedals will be probably too far away for my legs. But do you actually realize how lucky you are to live that life? Or do you
Yes.
set you, you know, to put you down into a house, children, family, a dog, a cat, perhaps two? I don't know. What do you think? Is
Well,
that something you would love to have one day or not?
well, you don't to travel. You don't have to give up any of those things. You you could have a wife or a kid or a dog or a cat. I've seen a lot of travelers with all that. Yes, it definitely makes it more difficult in the standard way of how culturally America is. I owned a house when I was 21. I inherited a house from my uncle. It was in very bad shape, and I remodeled it. That's kind of how I learned how to remodel, was from my uncle's house. My grandfather had built the house. He actually built about 8 different houses in Chicago, in Bellwood and Belrose Park, Stone Park, and he he did everything himself. He dug the foundation, poured the concrete, and built the whole house. So the house in Daytona Beach that I inherited when I was 21 was built by my uncle, built by my grandfather, and my handicapped uncle lived there for like 25, 30 years by himself. And my mom was his caretaker, basically. He had left my grandfather had left a large sum of money in a trust for my uncle, and he was really slow, but the house was a disaster, and there was cockroaches, and the wood I had the it was a nightmare. Like, you think inheriting a house would be great, but no one wanted to buy the house. And I left college. I left the university because my mom said, you either take the house, you either move out to Florida and take the house, or finish up college, but you can't have both. And so I decided to go with the house, because people go to college to save up money to buy a house. And it was like, I'm gonna have a house. And I enjoyed having my own house, and there was a lot of things I could have done better and different, but I learned it was a college for me for construction, and I learned electrical and plumbing and roofing and all that. But after a while, I felt trapped. I didn't like Florida, and I felt trapped by the whole idea of having a house and being, it felt like a boat anchor, and wouldn't allow me to go places I wanted to go. And when I came back to Chicago, we flipped a few houses, and we lost a lot of money in the subprime market when it crashed out, and lost a lot of money on a house that I did. And, but blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, I lived on, I did a rent to own situation for a house, and it was a 3,800 square foot house on 3 acres of land. And I lived there for 3 years, and the property was beautiful. I had this beautiful master bathroom with a jacuzzi overlooking a couple 100-year-old pines and a nice big creek in the backyard. But I felt so restricted to like chores and cutting the grass and maintaining the 4 bathrooms and cleaning 4 toilets. I was like, I don't want to do this. This doesn't make me happy. And it made my mom happy. It made my friends happy that I had a cool place. But and that's where I ended up I got arrested for cultivation 10 years ago. And when I was in jail, that changed my whole life of what was important. And I thought I lost everything when I went to jail. And when I sat in jail, I'd watch the sunset every night. And I was like, I've been to a lot of places, but I want to travel the world. I want to just America. I want to see sunsets and beautiful lakes and rivers and streams. And so, you know, the only thing that's important in jail is your freedom. Though there's rich people in there, and the money doesn't do anything. It's your freedom. And so when I got out, I was like, I'm living my life totally different. And I moved to Texas. I was on 100 acres off grid on Texas, and that didn't work out with the roommate. I worked really hard, and that seems to be the situation a lot. I get into these situations where I'm really trying to help people who are pretty lazy and kind of take advantage of what I do and how I do it. And I slowly progressed into traveling more, being in my van. And when I first was in my van, I was embarrassed about it. And I was like ashamed that I was in my van. But as I progressed, it's a whole lifestyle. It's an idea of having less bills, not having all those restrictions of a mortgage and insurance and the PIMI, private, the principal, interest, mortgage, insurance that most homeowners have. And as I started going to different places, people started wanting me to come to their house and tell me stories about the places I've been to. And I've crisscrossed America like hundreds of times now in the last 8-10 years. And I do feel very lucky, because I've seen a lot more, like I go to people's states and I've seen more of their parks, waterfalls, caves, missions, ruins, cathedrals than people in the state that they live in. A lot of people don't fly far from the roost. They're kind of chickens, not in a bad way, but you know they don't travel too far outside of their boundaries, their comfort zone. And there's been a lot of struggles with van life, and you know, they're definitely. I mean, even here, I'm out in LA in the RV, and it feels different. It feels different. I'm kind of more of a transient or a homeless person here in LA, if I drive around and go up the coast and go to parks, I'm back into the RV life and traveling life. You really get to meet a whole lot of people, but here it's very it's used. People will judge you that you're not in an apartment, you're not paying $2,500 for a small studio, or you're not paying these bills that everyone's so accustomed to. And so I do think that I'm very lucky, and I've a lot of people, their dream is to retire, buy an RV, and travel the world. And I've been traveling the United States. I just got my passport. I was so ready to just go to Mexico and see Mexico. Just travel down there,
You
and then
come
I
to
got
Scotland first. Come to Scotland first. I have a beach.
well,
Not even 10 seconds away from my house, I have a beach. I promise you, beach. That's where I go with the dogs. Come to
yeah,
Scotland.
I want to travel, and of course, right when I get my passport, like literally, like I was like planning on going to Mexico in the next week or two, and I got the ankle monitor, so now I can't leave the state. So now I'm stuck until this all gets settled out.
Jojo has shared your link for the donation for your legal fees.
Thank you.
Spreading it to everyone, not only today, every day when we can, we do it.
Thank you.
Um, I want to go into your legal stuff a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Interests me most because I haven't understood your story before. I heard snippets. When you hear snippets between, but you're a free bird, and I understand that. And actually, I envy you a little bit. Wait until I retire to do that. But how did you come to start protesting? What did you protest for the first time in your life? Was it something that you felt like gave it voice to? Some, I don't know. Tell me, what interested you so much that you felt you had to protest?
Well, in high school, I trained to. I wanted to. I tried to join the Marines. I took the HAZMAT test, and I wanted to be a soldier. I actually wanted to be a mercenary. I wanted to kill people. I wanted to just be a soldier, be in the woods, and I got injured, and I ended up going to college, and I just kind of started going down just a different path of just kind of partying, and I lived in a frat house, and I played lacrosse, so it was a whole different world than like what the military would be. But about 15 years ago, I was at a friend's house, and he made a little video, and it was a video of collateral damage. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's what the whole WikiLeaks and Julian Assange kind of, they exposed a video of the Apache helicopter in Iraq shooting and killing 2 Reuters journalists. And then a van came and tried to save them, and they had children in it, and the helicopter shot up the van. And that video like shook me up, because it like kind of it was like an iconoclastic video of like shattering my reality of what I believed America was. And after that, I became very anti-war. I just started watching like YouTube videos and learning, like just learning American history outside of the American history books. The term the Victor's Right to History books. I just really started questioning everything in public school, what I was taught. And I came to a conclusion that America and a couple other countries were imperialistic, and that they just took over territory. And so I became very anti-war. So I started going to like anti-war protests. And then it came to a whole sort. I started questioning chemicals that were put in the food and our agriculture. So that was like Monsanto. And so I started going to like anti-Monsanto marches, anti-war with Syria. That was when America was starting to bomb in Syria. And so I just started becoming involved with that. And I watched from afar for a few years. And then I would go like on Facebook groups, and I'd go to these different rallies. And then I was in Minneapolis for the George Floyd, all kind of the protests / riots, and because there was a little bit of both. And that was like me, like kind of some of my first live streaming. It was on Facebook. I was live streaming it, but I live streamed being out there. I got shot with rubber bullets and tear gas, and then I slowly just were going to more different things that I thought were important, and more so to just bring a unbiased view of what was going on, just to be there and record it, and not have like a political allegiance to whether it was Black Lives Matter or the group. Just I wanted to be like, I don't want to say neutral, but I wanted to just be there to observe exactly what was happening. And then in 2022, with COVID, I was out in Tucson, and America locked down a lot of stuff, and I was selling on eBay. I have an eBay store, and the COVID restrictions, they shut down all the Goodwill stores, the thrift shops, and they shut down because in Tucson, there's not a lot of water sources. A lot of other places, there's plenty of places to take showers at, but in Tucson, I was no longer able to shower, and I thought that contradicted what people were trying to do for COVID. That you're supposed to everything's supposed to be sanitary and sterile, and you shut down the bathrooms and showers. And how does somebody, especially the unhoused, how do they maintain sanitation levels when they can't shower? And so I lost my ability to shower. I lost my ability to get more products to sell on eBay. And so I basically lost my whole livelihood, and I got really angry about that. And then so there was a convoy, which was a protest against mandates, the COVID mandates. Some of it was anti-vaccine, but not all of it. A lot of people that were in the convoy had like small businesses, small restaurants that they had lost because of the restrictions. And it seemed in America that the COVID restrictions were biased to small businesses, and they allowed Walmart and Amazon to continue. And so there was a lot of business owners that were involved in the convoy. And so I joined this convoy that went across from the West Coast in California all the way to the East Coast. And I joined right outside of Texas in Oklahoma. And I followed that convoy to Maryland, Hagerstown. And I met a lot of people that I became friends with. And then after a while, I started seeing that the intentions of the leadership was not what they claimed to be. And so I left. And then that was a pretty traumatic time for me, because I met all these people, and all of a sudden, I was calling out what was going on, and no one was believing me. And so I went from 1,000 people watching my live to I could barely keep 10 people watching my live streams. And so I ended up hitchhiking across from, I helped a friend move to Bend, Oregon. We did the coast of Oregon. And then I hitchhiked between Oregon to Idaho. and that was an interesting like week experience of hitchhiking, and then some friends asked me to come. Some people asked me to come out to DC and protest. The convoy turned into a group called 1776 Restoration Movement, and they were camping out on the National Mall, which is like at our capital, the national capital, DC. There's a National Mall, which is in between the White House, the Capitol building, and the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. And so that's like where a lot of different protests happen. And so I went out there, and as we were driving there, we were live streaming, and I didn't have many people watching, but this man, it was the first time this man came and met us where we were at, and he bought us a hotel room in downtown DC. And I was like, someone's buying me a hotel room? This is like so strange, like that someone would like pay me to like be here. And, you know, some people had given some money, and at the convoy, my friends from the farm brought like goat milk and some cash. But like, it wasn't until I was going into DC that like I realized that I was part of something a little different than just like what I had been involved in. And then from there, I started growing. My channel started growing. That was my first channel. I got taken down. My original YouTube channel was Defender Vance, and I had about 4,000 subs. It wasn't a big channel, but I had a lot of, I had garnished a lot of support through the protesting and bullhorning of the group on the National Mall. And that was when I first started realizing that I'm kind of in a real weird niche. And I also realized the importance of making it entertaining, because a lot of the protests, including myself, I had lost a lot of friends with protesting because I took such hardline stances on things and was very militant in my beliefs. And so it took a long time for me to realize that when you're having fun and you're entertaining, that you're much more likely to bring forth an idea, or, you know, you're gonna develop a lot more support if you're having fun and making it entertaining. So I started wearing.
That's what made you in LA, Scott, is you didn't just turn up. You came with pineapple glasses. You had weird outfits, and that made it worthwhile watching, because sometimes especially when you guys were in front of is when there were so many streamers you didn't know. I was sometimes channel hopping, and one day I said, I have to stop because my brain can't follow anything anymore. So I would use you, only you, then the next day Confident Chris, and then the next day someone else and someone else. But as soon as something was happening, you know, then you would start. But you made it interesting. You wanted to make it, even though it's very serious what we are protesting and activisting about, is that you can't. For me personally, that I can't go protest anywhere. Well, we have an orc here in Edinburgh, but it's a tiny little door, so we can't really do very much. But too, because for me, at the beginning, I was watching just YouTube and only anything that had to do with Scientology, and it goes into your mind. I was dreaming about it, and then and I already had mental health issues when the pandemic started, and I lost my job last year, you know, on top of it. So it was really refreshing to see you arrive and having fun as well, even though it was serious. Who you are, and we lost you. You froze.
You lost
Uh,
me? I
you
froze?
were frozen for a minute.
Okay. I'm here.
Yeah, you how you say that? You're glitching.
Glitching. All right, let me get back outside. I had to get a cord and a water.
That's okay.
Can you hear me now? Am I better?
That's better. Yeah, early on you were like that. You have nice weather.
Yeah, it's beautiful here right now. I'm in Griffith Park, which is pretty famous.
Oh,
It has an observatory at the top of the hill, and it's the most traveled observatory in the world.
oh, right.
So it's pretty cool. You don't it's LA, so that there's not a lot of there's a lot of light pollution. But
Is that observatory bigger than Greenwich in London?
say that again.
Is it bigger than the observatory in Greenwich in London?
It's not the largest. It's the most visited.
Ah, okay. All right.
So I'm not sure. And yeah, no, the entertainment value of the protesting, it's so crucial to being successful, I think, in a protest, is when you're having fun, and it garnishes support, and you can't talk about dark topics all the time. It's not good for your mental health at all.
No.
And so having fun and having humor and having the costumes, that that has made me very unique in the sense of being. And the judge in the one restraining order case said I was a gadfly, and I'd never heard that phrase before, but that is what I am. I'm a gadfly. I like the theater art of it all. And I just won a restraining order case the other day, and I was basically engaged in theater art of dancing in a onesie on public property. So I don't know how I got a restraining order for that, but I did. And so, but I was able to tell my side of the story, and I got some justice there. So that was, I needed a nice win.
Well, you made a difference. It's just a pity that whoever, if it was Scientology or whoever was hating your guts so much to get you swatted, even going into this year, if I'm not mistaken, that must have been, or try to say it the right way, it must have been a huge dent into know how you survived it mentally, all this, because every time I suppose that every time you heard sirens you were like, oh fuck, they're here for me, no?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still suffering from all of it. Like, and I can't define, I can't put, I can't really put it in words exactly how I feel or how it has affected me. But one of the things is I can't, I have trouble completing tasks now. That's probably the biggest thing that I see of myself. Something where I used to be able to do a whole lot of tasks, I can no longer do a whole bunch of tasks, or I could do it in one day, but then there's other days where I just can't mentally just keep my my mind focused on what I need to be doing. So that's what I felt the most. And because I'm overwhelmed with the possibilities of where I could get help and how unjust it is. But then I'm also overwhelmed that I haven't been able to get help for that. So there's been like this, and basically like every swatting was like, I had all this going on and this is what I'm trying to focus on. And then you get swatted and it's like, okay, now I got to focus on this. Now I got to deal with this. And them taking my phones, that really affected me mentally. And it's still affecting me. I lost my ability to even have my computer to stream. Yeah,
Look, there are
and I don't
people.
know.
There are people in America. Look, I follow lots of true crime stuff in America. I'm really fascinated by that. There are wife murderers that getting their phones back the day after they took their phones, and they had your phones for over, right? That's not
Yeah,
normal.
no. 13 months now for the two phones. Luckily, luckily, well, luckily, unluckily, my protesting in DC, I've come to know some of the top brass, some of the more major players in the police department in DC. And when I went out to DC, I let them know when I first got there to the federal prison there that I was getting swattings and there was bomb calls and guns calls. And then within 10 minutes of being there, Homeland Security, the DC Special Ops came up to me, said that Homeland Security wanted to talk to me. And so someone had called in a bomb threat on January 6th, which January 6th is the day in American politics that they transfer power or they vote on the transfer of power. I actually don't even know exactly what the details are on the J6, but I think they vote to transfer the power. And so the 4 years ago, there was a big event on January 6th, and it has divided the country of what had happened and how people were treated on both sides. And so it's become a big talking point in the media, and is a big narrative in the left and right paradigm, American politics, Democrat, Republican, and so that day, them calling in that bomb threat on that day when the Capitol was the most secure it's ever been in history was a foolish move by the swatters, because Homeland Security, I think, took that very serious. That bomb threat was called in. And I believe that LAPD lost jurisdiction of that case once that happened, once the federal government became involved in it, and they changed the detective who was involved. And then apparently I'm no longer the number one suspect, that they've figured out who the swatter was. They're building a case right now, putting together all the evidence before they make the arrest, allegedly. And that's why I got my phones back. So that was good, because there's been a lot of allegations that I was the swatter and then I swatted myself, which, besides the fact that the swattings have been terrifying, to be accused of the things that are terrifying, it's like being accused of like someone coming and murdering your family and then being accused of being the murderer, or somebody doing an essay on somebody and then you get an essayed and then you're being accused of being the essayer. And so that has played really just on my emotional state. And it's been, I mean, I've had my emotional breakdowns. Like it's been a freaking roller coaster of emotions of trying to keep it together. And because I believe real strongly in the Scientology cause, but at the same time, I'm literally risking my freedom and giving up my life to stand up for it. And it's, and I felt like quitting a bunch of times. Even when I was sitting in jail this last time, it was like, what am I doing? Why am I risking my life and my freedom? Because to me, my freedom is the most important thing. I don't need money. I don't need all the other material objects or things. My freedom is important, and now I'm facing over 10 years in jail for these allegations that they're saying that I did now.
I will say that I don't know. No, I think you're quite a strong man. Other people would have gone kaput. They wouldn't go on anymore. They would be broken. I'm not saying you might be broken somewhere inside, but I think it is time now that you look after yourself. You look after you leave, because if freedom is that what you need, then you need to concentrate of this freedom. I don't want to see you. The swattings were unfair. Oh, someone shouting at you.
The dog was about
Oh,
to come and greet me.
My dogs are sleeping. They're good tonight. Do you understand what I mean, Scott? And mental health is something we are speaking about more freely than we. In my teens or 20, I put a persona up. I was always the clown of any party, people that I was not well or I had an issue or something. I was always the fun of the party and I was invited everywhere. But with the years, it goes up here. I started therapy, online therapy through work, because I couldn't understand why, even though I'm used to be on my own, suddenly I couldn't handle it because I didn't have the freedom coming into Edinburgh. Let's have a drink, let's have some dinner. I couldn't do that anymore. And therapy woke up a lot of things from my past that I actually pushed away to wallow around it. So my freedom has been taken away from me through this bloody pandemic. I don't want you to get broken. I really want you to think, everyone that is supporting you because we don't want you to end up in prison, because until now all you've done is doing something good world, that we can protest for a cause that we are in, that we think is important. And we absolutely, especially in Europe, we need more former Scientologists to come out and to speak about what they have lived. I think the only former Scientologists I know, apart from that I couldn't interview, that have declined, but I had the SP chef from Switzerland. I had Balázs, Hungary/Denmark. I had just recently I had Apostate Alex. I had Ludovic from France. But there are so many more want to speak out in Europe. They're still scared. And I want to show them there's a community behind you. We are here to help you. No one is going to do something as you. And I think it's important we continue. And Scott, you can protest in different ways. You can be behind your camera and talk, and like we do, the ones that can't go protest, we do it in different ways. And I have neglected the other languages that I wanted to do on my channel, so I'm going to have in the sour apple and start to do it in French and in German as well, so that perhaps I get other people to speak out. around here packed. I want to say one thing is because she's in the chat, and if I don't mention her, she's gonna be angry at me for the rest of my life. So Yolanda is the creator with her husband, the free anti-Scientology activist in Switzerland. And I have to mention them because they're Swiss like I am, okay? You have noticed that she has written a blog about you not long ago. And she said, I needed to say hello because she's a huge fan. So, Yolanda, I said it. I hope we're good now.
Yeah, Yolanda, I've loved the blog. I put it through Google Translate, which is so amazing to be able to have that technology to be able to
Yes.
read it, and it was a very detailed. I loved it. I loved it. I love that all the way
I'll tell
across
you
the
one
country.
thing, Scott. If you use Chrome, the Chrome Explorer, you have the translate button at the top.
Yeah, that's what I used. Or
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think that's what I used. Um, so no, I really appreciate that. So thank you. It's and we raise somewhere around $25,000 US dollars in a little over a week, and that's, to me, that's amazing. And um, to be able to have those finances to get a lawyer when I need to get a lawyer, it's really helped take a lot of stress off my back. Um, I'm right now doing the legal process myself, but I know that at any moment when I'm ready, when I need to get counsel, I have the money to retain counsel, and that means a whole lot. And that's something that I've been very supportive of with Josiah, and we raised $6,500 for him, and we beat his charges were beat, and Laura was really, me and her were having a lot of discussions and arguments about if Josiah should take a plea deal or not. And thankfully, Scientology was very greedy in what they wanted to make the plea deal. And so
Yeah.
it made it impossible for Josiah to take that plea deal. Usually the plea deal's good for both sides, but Scientology is so greedy and they want everything. They don't want any mention of Scientology and all that they forced Josiah to risk his freedom and fight, and we were successful. But to have that community, because if we don't support the other protesters that have been arrested or going through legal actions, restraining orders, and that's happening all across the world. Miriam and Scientology up north, she's been fighting the restraining orders and has been successful. And it's good to have that community and to know that Scientology doesn't have the ability to just shut you down now. Like, I could not imagine doing this 20 years ago. This, I would be way too afraid. Not having the live streaming capability and the internet and all that would have severely affected and has severely affected a lot of other activists who have been against Scientology for the last 20 or 30 years. And there's been a lot of litigation that I'm starting to really dive into and learn about as I progress through my court cases.
Yeah, that is something I am so impressed about, how much work you do on your own. You know, when you court documents, and I mean, this is a language in itself, the legal language, right? And I'm so impressed because not everyone could do that. You represented yourself. Is that a restraining order with La Poubelle, or which one was it? that you won and you represented
it was
yourself. Which one was?
that was versus security guard Jaden Wheeler
Oh,
at the
yeah,
church
sorry.
at the Blue Building.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
I had Dorothy do the anti-slap for the
Sorry,
for
Scott,
the
you had
Ruffle
so
Bell.
many. How can? Oi, Bonnie. You had, yeah.
It's hard to keep up with them.
Yeah. I don't know how you keep up with them, but I'm really impressed. And I don't know if I could represent myself. I know how to talk. I do, like I said, I watch a lot of attorneys on YouTube that are going through legal or court documents about specific trials I watch, and I wouldn't explain what they're reading. I don't think I would understand it. But hey, I don't even know how court documents look like in the UK, and I've been living here 26 years. I think I know more about the American ones than the ones over here. So yeah, well, I was meant to go to court 2 years ago, and 4 hours to be told you don't have to go as witness, you can go home. Thank you very much. So no, like I said, totally impressed with you've been doing and the work you're doing on your own, and that must be do you have legal representative in that sense that are helping you to understand stuff that you don't understand? I just said.
Yeah, I got a couple. I have a couple of people who, somebody who did some litigation, civil litigation, and then somebody else who did some appellate, worked in some of the appellate court stuff in California that have been just kind of not offering me any type of legal advice by any means, because they both continually say to seek criminal lawyer counsel, but they've been just helping me with some of the form of things, and I'm learning. That's the thing that I think is one of my biggest qualities, is realizing that I don't know things and that I'm not smart in certain subjects. And because I'm able to self-reflect on my inability to not be smart in a subject, I can take the time to learn about that subject and become smarter about that subject. And I think anyone really could do it if you spend enough time, and you just don't just assume that because you don't know that you can't know. And it's just it really comes down to repetition, and it comes around the repetition, and then repetition and speaking and having conversations with different people about it. Don't ever just think of what one person says. You want to have multiple things. And I just thought about this. I meant to say it earlier about talking
Yeah.
about mental health. We saw Mindy yesterday, and Mindy had a breakdown from everything that has happened with the protesting, with threats to her family, and she apologized yesterday, or she was trying to apologize, that she had to tell her story, and I felt so bad for Mindy. Like, don't ever apologize for telling the truth or telling how
No.
you feel, and so it it I like, I don't know if I don't know what a breakdown is, but I mean, I went through it, and I've gone through these roller coasters of emotions, and I've tried to share that with everybody to see it. And I've not been proud of some of the responses of what I've done or how I've responded, but that is what I did. And so, you know, and even through some of my responses, I regret how I responded, but I've really learned, just because I'm right doesn't mean that I have a right to respond a certain way. But like Mindy, I just felt really bad for Mindy that she felt somewhat embarrassed that she went through that. And I don't think that there's anything to be embarrassed about, you know. And this is like the largest cult in the world, and they're very powerful, and there's a lot of influences that are influencing what's going on in the protest world. And so I just I wanted to say that about Mindy.
Yeah, thank you very much for saying that. I heard a little bit about the Dutch yesterday, so somehow I missed what happened to Mindy. So I feel really bad because I really liked her and I do miss her too. But that is the thing, is that the people that are watching you guys, they need to understand that when you decide, like Confident Chris, we're funny and everything, it's just a different kind of protester from you or any others. So we miss him, but he decided everyone has the right to stop, because even I don't go to protest, but sometimes it goes into my head and I'm like, oh, I have to watch something else. So, today I don't know if you heard the History Channel. I'm a huge fan of The Curse of Oak Island, which is an island in Nova Scotia. So I watched that. I love it. If I just want, after 11 years, that they bloody find that treasure. But anyway, so season on history, so I'm binge watching it because sometimes it goes into my head and I can't watch everyone. So I don't blame any protester who's stopping, or even if they take a break. And what really hurt me the most was when and I still don't understand why you all of you do drive and are on live stream. It's so bloody. Worst happened, you had that accident and your van was totally totaled, and I was like, bloody hell, I hope he's not hurt. And luckily you weren't, but it's dangerous. I don't understand driving. I'm like, because you're always watching your cell phone to check on the comments, and you shouldn't do that. I think here in the UK, not, I know in Switzerland it's forbidden. You can't be on your phone and drive, so I'm sure you can't be live on a phone in your car either. In the UK, probably the same, but it's dangerous. Please, please turn your camera around, but then people know where you are. So I don't want you to be swatted again. So there you are. You have that beautiful ankle bracelet, don't you?
Yeah.
The accident was I encountered. I mean, I woke up that morning actually quite early because Bonnie has tendency to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, go to the beach. And I came back and couldn't go back to sleep. So television, YouTube, and I'm like, so yeah, that was shocking. It was horrible to see and watch, Scott. Think about your safety. And if you want to stop protesting for a while, I don't think anyone would blame you. You're the one who's been swatted the most, and of Scientology and the corrupt LAPD as well to top it up. So if you want to stop for a while, do stop. Take a break. Take a holiday. When all this finished, good.
Yeah, it's been, you know, it's been 24/7. Even, having been with Laura a lot of the time here, and the amount of people that I engage with, there has been no time off really, because it's just been constant, and some of it, yeah, it's just hard to disconnect, because my friends now, everyone is so into the Scientology thing. I do have to say that the accident, I was not streaming during the accident. That was just a whole set of circumstances, and I'm very lucky to be alive, and that I was able to walk out of that with no injury. And it turned out into a godsend that I now have the RV, which is been my little nightmare here, trying to get it all fixed up. They say the contractor's house is never complete, but I'm slowly getting there. And it is very dangerous to be streaming and driving. The convoy that I was involved in, that was what the whole convoy. We had over 50 different live streamers, and they basically just film their routes. The danger comes in the engagement with the chat in the driving, and it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is dangerous.
I wanted to say something, now I forgot. Yeah. Oh, Sugar, I wanted to ask you something. The chat is so fast, I can't follow, but Fluffer is storing the questions and comments. Yeah, here it is. Joe Banana has commented, Mummy Bridget. Yeah, well, when I see people that are in danger or misbehaving a little bit, then I tell them. I'm quite open, I'm quite honest, and I expect the same. I went through life, people pitying. I was different, and that's why I do not pity anyone, because it's the worst feeling in the world. For people who don't understand, if you pity someone, it's not nice when you. No, my hair is longer than yours, but I'm not gonna open. You look like a castaway.
Well, I feel like a castaway sometimes.
I just don't have the beard.
I'll keep it as long as I have it. What?
I don't have the
I
beard,
trimmed it
but
up
I'm not
so
gonna
I don't look
open
so
my
ridiculous.
hair. Some I have a lot of different ones lying around, but that is my favorite one. Sugar, Scott, you threw me off. Look, what are we gonna do is perhaps it will come after. I have about 15 start questions or comments. I'm gonna go over there. Let's do that for a little while. If
Perfect.
you okay? I might not remember what it's relating to, right? So here we go. What if Scotty adopted a Chihuahua and named it Fun or Van? I suppose Van.
Vaughn.
Van.
That's
You would look amazing with a Chihuahua.
No, I want a for years I've been talking about getting a Silky. And I already have a name for it. It's going to be #WildOnion. Do you know what a Silky is?
No.
A Silky's like a Bantam chicken, They're a really tiny chicken. Hold on. Helicopter. LA has a lot of helicopters. A silkie is like a little fluffy. They don't have feathers; they have fur. And before incubators, farmers would use silkies to sit on the eggs. They're very broody, and they would sit on the eggs. So quail farmers use silkies to sit on the eggs. Sometimes when chickens are stressed, they'll abandon the eggs, and the silkies, they're just tiny little chickens that they like to pop down. They're very motherly, and they'll raise ducks, chickens, quail as their own. And that was a primary the species of chicken. It's a delicacy in China. It's a dark meat. So they're really cool. If you gotta look it up. You gotta Google.
I'm gonna have to Google it. Yeah. When you say oh no, it's not gonna be like those cats without fur.
No. They're super. They look like little Ewokers from Star Wars, and people dress them up in all these little dresses, and they wear some of them wear diapers, and they're like lap chickens. They like to sit in people's laps. They're highly domesticated. And so no dogs, no barking dogs named Vaughn.
Okay, so no Chihuahua. I would love to see you with a Chihuahua under your arm.
No. Those fuckers are annoying. Pardon my language.
Our lovely Tilty Bird question: do you take time to be inspired in a positive way on so many levels? Does that help you keep going or give you some type of pressure load? Good question, Tilty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get overwhelmed with emails and messages, but sometimes those emails come at like at the most perfect time. Especially when I'm like emotionally having like issue and like just feeling real low on myself, to get those heartfelt messages from people, it means everything. And my protest in the last couple of years, there's a lot of people who have been victims of abuse, of SA, and all sorts of things, and them telling their stories and them thanking me for like giving them a voice. And it could be very inspiring, and like without that I wouldn't be able to continue, truthfully. I enjoy hearing that. If it makes you, because there's a lot of people who have a lot of bad things to say, so it's good to hear that.
Well,
it's good to hear it, but it's also
go on.
Go ahead. It's also it could be very dangerous, because people who are very manipulative will start with that type of conversation and say that you're very inspiring and everything, but it's used to manipulate and to control you and try to take advantage of you or fulfill some type of need that you just can't fulfill. So it's good to hear it, but at the same time, I've learned to be very cautious of what I would consider love bombing, because
it's understandable.
I never really experienced this level of love bombing being a streamer, and so it's something that I've really had to process over the couple of years, and I've been suckered by that love bombing by a lot of people.
Understandable, but I think someone who really likes you will also tell you what they don't like of some kind of behavior you're having. Or I personally, I dislike the way you speak to the police officers, or not, if they're an asshole or not, but I don't like it when you tell them they're big fat pigs, and I don't like it. And I'm telling you, but
yeah. And I appreciate that. And my friends, the people who are closest to me that I really listen to and talk to, on a semi-regular basis, they are some of the most critical of me. And I don't want somebody to just agree with everything, because again, like I've gone through with some people with that, and it's been awful. I want people to disagree. I want to hear, because how can you self-reflect if you don't have someone that criticizes you? How do you become better in situations if you don't allow people to have that opinion for you to take in and change your behavior or attempt to change that behavior? You have to have criticism.
I have to say, for me, it's, look, I say the word fuck and big words as well, like everyone else, brought up to have respect of people that are older than me, people in power. If I like them or not, it's gonna be. French and German languages have a way that you don't have in English. In English, you say you to everyone. And if you want to make a difference, you're going to call me as your friend, you're going to call me Bridget. But if I wasn't your friend and you don't know me from Adam to Eve, you would call me Miss. I'm not going to tell you my surname. I'll tell you that in private. But in French and in German, you can differentiate that without having to say differentiate it with the name. It's difficult to explain because you don't have that in English. So I was brought up of, we learned what the word respect is. When I look at younger generation this day, they always, now I'm like, can you tell me what the word respect means? And they're like, I don't know. And I said, exactly. So if you don't know what it means, go back to mom and dad and ask them to explain it to you, because they don't know this kind of things we were taught. Respect people I don't like, because that's how it was in my time. Bloody hell, I start to talk like my mother now. I'm getting really old now. Saying that again today because it's my birthday tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be the last time I'm 50. So, you see,
Happy birthday.
Not yet, not yet.
Happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
1 hour and 31 minutes, you can say it.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't want, you understand what I mean? Talk like that or shout at the police like that. I understand your frustration, but you can show them you're frustrated and still be polite. If you know, when I speak to people, it's just that is something I don't like. I really don't like. It's the same with others that are talking to the police like that. I just don't agree with it. And that's it. I mean,
I appreciate that opinion, and I think you're right. I agree with you 100%. That
I know,
it's counterproductive. You get more
I
bees with
know
honey.
that most of these police officers we have seen, especially when you guys were in front of La Poubelle, that how you say that, you always saw the same police officers over and over again, and then we started to see which ones were. And what amazed me so much, and I've seen it in other programs about the police in the UK, so it's not only LA or anywhere in America, it exists here in the UK too, is that they have no common sense and they don't know much about the laws at all. So I think this is something every country should teach these police officers, so that they can make conscious decisions that are right. I know it's not an easy job either. I don't know if I could be a policewoman, but you know. But anyway, continue. Otherwise, we'll still be here on Monday. Not that I would mind, to be honest with you, but hey. Here, Nanya. Hello, Nanya. Owning a house is a lot of work, responsibility in a bad way. I don't know. I never owned a house, so I can't say, but Scott certainly can tell you.
Yeah, no, I love going to people's property and going for a couple days and then leaving and not having. I mean, owning a property is so much work, especially if you want to keep it real presentable. Just cutting the grass once a week is not what I want to be doing every week.
Well, no, it depends how much grass you have as well, right?
Yeah.
Tilty does really like you a lot, huh? If you come to Canada, can I paint something on the RV if I get good enough by then?
Yeah, no, she's amazing.
Art.
I would love, like, I would love to have artists paint my van before this last van, my van. I had a lot of art, and I had people write and draw things and leave comments in the van. And I love, to me, art like never stops. Like an art piece can continue and continue. So yeah, I would love that, Tilty. There's your crumb, Tilty.
She's gonna be so happy. Oh yeah. You see, I'm not the only one saying that. Jojo Bananas is saying the same because Jojo is here in Scotland too.
I'm down. I would love to travel. Like I just got my passport because I wanted to go to Australia. I want to go to Iceland, and I want to go down to South America. I'd love to travel, and I would love to take my audience with me and experience. Yeah, because I have a big enough audience now to where I could support myself just traveling, and I would love to just go to different places and experiences.
Can you wait a little bit about Australia? I'll come with you. I was born in Sydney.
Okay.
I've never been there since I left when I was 18 months old. So I've never been to Australia since. So would be lovely to discover where I was born with you.
I would love it. I want to
An old
see
granny
some of
with
the.
you.
I'd love to see some of the Aboriginal tribes. I'd love to kind of go and visit some of their stuff there.
Oh yes. I want to see where I was born, and it's funny, right? Paddington. The first place I lived in London was Paddington. The doctor who brought me into this beautiful world was called. My best friends in Paris lived in a street called Avenue de MacMahon. You know, there are some things that are happening to me in this. It's very strange. Okay, I'm going to stop talking, Scott. Let's continue. Are you too kind? Radiate life with Lorelei Brogan. It will be all resolved. I wish I remember when that came up. Yes, everything will be resolved. I agree. Right?
Yeah. It's all meant to be.
Here behind you.
The path is what it, this is the path. I have to go the path, and these court cases and everything, this is going to define me. My previous court case, my jail time, all define me, who I am, and what an activist, what type of activist I am. So I'm embracing my role in all of this.
Yes.
Good book.
War is a Racket. I never heard that. But I have so many books on my Kindle that I have no time to read, and it's all Scientology related. And I have reading the one from Michel from Canada. I don't know if you heard of him. He wrote Fluffer. Can you give this book, please? He was born into another cult. The cult finished, and his family moved to Scientology. It's very good read. The channel. Hopefully, when I finish the book, but I read a little bit, so I'm not very fast at the moment. And then when I look at my Kindle, I have another 10 books I haven't read yet. Let me just quickly check. It's called Falling from a Pink Cloud. That's his book. Anyway, let's go. Roxy Rain says gadfly. That's what the judge said to you. But what does it mean? Gadfly.
Gadfly is just like annoying, someone who's kind of somewhat annoying.
Likeable but annoying at the same time. Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, here Yolanda. DOA, the fight against Scientology needs many protesters, and all these court cases are really bleh. We have here in Switzerland 2 cases. Yeah, they have a civil, and it's tough on them as well. But just a second, Bonnie, out of the kitchen. You're not allowed there. Come on, out. What did I want to say? Yeah. Actually, it's the same person that I think. No, I'm not going to go into it because I'm going to say it wrong again. And but yeah, during COVID in Switzerland, the Scientologists were distributing leaflets about how sanitizing your hands and how to wash your hands and blah 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 blah, and in smoking with the Swiss government, and they were leaving that in boutiques and post office and wherever they could leave it and give it to people on the streets. And naturally, if you see that and you see in collaboration with, right? And then someone came to Faza and said to them, well, do you think they're really in collaboration with the government? And so Yolanda wrote to the government, to the Health and Safety Department. And I mean, that was the first year of the pandemic. So I think she wrote them in August. In September, the government replied and said, no, we never agreed to any collaboration with them.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
They so fast because the Sea Org guy, or the spokesperson for Scientology in Switzerland and Germany, he turned up in court without his solicitor because he thought it was in his pocket. And Faza were the first anti-Scientologist in the world to win against Scientology. And then the next ones, then all the others came afterwards. So, that was the beginning, and it has to continue. Fair enough, you can't always win, but it's a good sign, because they need to learn that they don't own any of us. They're not allowed that. And the biggest step in America would be to get the tax exempt removed. That's the first step, and that's what in America you guys should. I always promoting Fat Grammy, aka Mona, because she does a lot in the background regarding that, and a lot
Yeah,
of people.
and there's been a lot of court cases that have, like, just because there's a tax status doesn't necessarily mean it's a religious institute. I'm just saying this. I'm just speaking out in general here, because in other countries, Scientology doesn't have tax status, and they're still considered a religion.
Yeah, well, in most.
So my question would be that, or my statement would be that, is the IRS the dictator of what makes something a religion? Would be my question.
Okay, in my opinion, Scott, I might be completely wrong, but in my opinion, I see it that way. If that is being removed from them and they have to start paying taxes instead of getting share members or whatever, or specifically from the very rich ones, that is going to start them to think we need to recruit more. Effective to put a foot in the wheel for the recruiters not being able to recruit, and to educate more the people that Scientology is a cult and not to join. I think that's my opinion. I might be completely
it's
wrong.
I think having the discussions about that is important to understanding what we're actually protesting, right? And what is the most effective way to stop Scientology. And some people think that going after the tax deduction is the most important, and others don't. And I'm not sure what the right answer is, truthfully. But
No,
discussions
there is
about
no
it
right answer. There is no right answer. State Alex here in the UK, people don't like to hear it, but it's true that at the moment he is doing a lot of things on his own. And I mean, in the last few months, he's been aggressed via social media overseas. He was interviewed by Talk TV. Is a UK independent channel, news channel. I think that's how they're calling themselves. It's mainly people like, well, in America you all know Piers Morgan, but Piers Morgan left a national television channel a few years ago, ended up on Talk TV, and different other guys like that were either national channel and ended up on Talk TV. But the two guys interviewing Alex, they didn't let him finish any sentence, and Alex was so calm. I was so proud of him, because I would have screamed, understand me, to stop interrupting me and listen to what I'm saying. He interrupted every sentence. He never managed to talk about the abuse, what kind of abuse in Scientology. I was glad he managed to get interviewed, but it was a very bad interview. Just two interviewers obviously didn't do their homework. And here in the UK, we need to do more. Difficult, it's different. It's a different country. We need to find out where we can protest, how we can protest without trouble. And he's also the one who organized the big protest in 2023 and last year, when the IRS. I always say it wrong.
Yeah, I always say it wrong. I'm bad with acronyms.
Yeah, hate abbreviations. I mean, it doesn't matter in which language. I don't like it. Anyway, when they
No,
have that
Alex has been doing
international and we are waiting. I really want to go to this instead where Sand Hills is based, but we have now to wait to find out if we're going to be allowed or not. So that's story to follow and wait and see. They have behaved beautifully last year. They didn't give the police any reason not to be able to go back this year. So we will see. But yeah.
Alex has been doing a lot of good work, but that's why when I deal with the media, I just jump in on their live stream and say what it needs to be said, because a lot of them, the underwriters, will not allow them to talk about Scientology for whatever reason.
You know, the best one for me is when what's his name? What's the actor's name? Jude Law. And he turned around and he said, "That's right." And I'm like, yes, he knows about it.
That was
for
talk
me,
about
that was the best moment.
Yeah, divine timing.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was, and you know, he didn't get angry or anything. He was actually listening to what you were saying. You know, he was not like some people, but then you know they start looking, then they look quickly at you and they look somewhere else. That's, you know, you have lost them. But he was listening. That was the best one.
That was one of my favorite. That those types of situations give me an adrenaline rush, and I enjoy. Like, that's what I enjoy. Like, I do have joy in protesting, and moments like just the timing of things. Sometimes when things are perfectly timed, I just love everything about that. And that was an amazing day, and also taught me that my ability to bullhorn, I don't have to be long. I could do something very quickly. And I had the audience laughed like it was on a laugh track. And that was very, that helped me better my protesting style, because I realized I didn't have to be loud and annoying. I could be quick and funny, and it's just as effective.
Yeah. Okay, DOA, let's go. Amy, question: is DOA going to get the rest of his stuff back?
Eventually.
Eventually.
I have to file a motion for return of property in this felony court case, and I'm thinking I should be able to get it back with that.
Bloody hell. Okay. Wow, so Yolanda gets a crumbs and I just get denied crumbs every day for 2 weeks. What did you do to her?
No, I don't know.
Oh, she's always so funny. I love her. Favorite
Oriole. The Oriole.
What's that? What kind of bird is that?
It's like it's got yellow and black. My father was when we were little. My father always had bird feeders in the backyard, and we'd sit out there and whistle at the. I just remember being young and doing the cardinal call. But so my dad always had Suey. I think that's how you say it, Suey. And our backyard was like a nice. Me, my mom, and my dad shared gardening, My parents had like 1,000, like 1,500 different, 1,500 hostas in the backyard, and we were always gardening. I was always moving hostas around, but I'd sit back there and just watch the birds. And an Oriole was just a very rare bird that would come around once in a while, and so when I see Orioles, they're just far and few between, but I always appreciate when I see them. So that's my favorite bird.
You know what my favorite bird is? It's a kookaburra. These are birds that live in Australia, and these birds don't sing, they laugh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. I didn't know that until my mother told me. Said, strange, is someone laughing somewhere, until she realized the people she was visiting had a kookaburra in the room, and that bird was constantly laughing. And it's true, they do laugh. And anything that laughs, I like. Especially a bird. Amy. Almost didn't even acknowledge that DOA went pro se against Moxon and won. Totally agree. Yeah, they totally. I can't find the word now. Ignored it. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, they'll ignore it. They'll ignore it when I win this time, but I'm gonna win, and it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, check out Yolanda. Yeah, Yolanda's blog was really cool.
Yeah, but it's in the main one as well. But here we go. Jojo, it's not cake, but would you like to buy Bridget? Why is this start? Sorry.
Buy me a coffee.
I had to check if I was in the live. Or I know I'm in the start part. Oh, here, there's another one here. Scott improved from this year. I've been following him. I will still support him, whatever he decides to do.
No, thank you.
I agree.
Antonica.
I think you have more people supporting you now than they were supporting you last year.
Well, and it's yeah, I don't know. The amount of people you have for your channel doesn't matter as much as if you have just loyal supporters, people who are loyal and I don't know, that to me, like my chat, Mindy said she wasn't really afraid of me, she was afraid of my chat. She said that yesterday, so I'm gonna start like I don't feel like my chat's that critical, but I don't know. I guess I don't know how I would reel that in, because
you see, Scott, with channels like yours that have more than the subscribers, the chat goes fast. And even though if I write something in someone's big channel in the chat, suddenly my comment is gone, and I don't know if someone has replied. So it doesn't pop out. So I'm like, so if I'm gonna have to concentrate on the chat to see if someone has replied, I'm not concentrating on the person that is actually talking on his own channel. So, that's why to comment and be more in chats. But sometimes I wonder why. And I'm not someone who is gonna talk shit about someone or other streamers. That's not in my thing. So but yeah, the big channels that and I'm like, oh, where is it? Anyway, let's continue. Next one. I haven't read it, so Amy, talk to me. What a disgrace. Oh, thank you, Amy. I wasn't the only one. So you really don't get it. Such a level of ignorance about the cult's abuses. Shame on. I agree. I thought they didn't do their homework. They didn't get any information about it. They talk TVs on YouTube. Um, yeah, totally agree. Thank you, Amy. I wasn't the only one thinking that. Um, oh, she says that my tweet to Tokyo, and I told them as well they were a disgrace. I don't think I used the word disgrace, but yeah. I think I am emailing every day, every week, Piers Morgan. And the
Mm.
reason is because he was first with Talk TV, and now he has his own YouTube channel on YouTube because it's Piers Morgan, right? And it's called Piers Morgan Uncensored. And the other reason is because East Grinstead is in East Sussex, and Piers Morgan lives in Sussex, so the county Sussex. From where he lives, and he needs to. So I am going to continue to email him until he replies to me. And also, every year on Twitter, I wish him a happy birthday. And you'll know why I wish him a happy birthday. Just because he's a year older than me and he shares his birthday with me. But he never replied to me. What an ass. But if we can get Piers Morgan, he doesn't have to interview me because but if he can interview um, Alex, the SP chef, Bianca, every former Scientologist here in Europe that has already spoken up and are not afraid of, that would be the best thing. Will open doors in Europe if that would happen. Therefore, for the ones who don't know or want to, just email him. Go on his Piers Morgan Uncensored channel. So it's at Piers Morgan Uncensored. Email. I email him once a week. And I don't write something different. I just copy and paste. What the heck? Oh, it's windy. The bins are flying away.
The
God,
rubbish bins.
the bins outside. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Sorry, Scott. Oh, here we go. Gin and I like the name Gin and Tonica. Comment: I was so happy to see Miriam protest in Denmark with so many people last week. He had at least twice as much as last year. It was fantastic to see, and the SB chef was there. In brackets with his nuts. There, so Balash was. He used to be. He left YouTube now, but he was Elron Hupcold. Irish Mart was there. Kirby's mom was there. Dodge came all the way from America. Bianca. It was a great protest. And the funny thing, in Copenhagen, Miriam needs to get a permission from municipality to be able to protest in front of the Scientology building. And so they arrived, and there was a big truck and windows cleaner who didn't clean any windows until I think an hour or so later on. So they moved opposite. And that was so funny. And she called the police to find out how that came. She had a permit, and they said it was a coincidence. Yeah, right. But they still managed managed to. It was a good protest. I don't know if you watched a little bit. If you
I did.
haven't, it was
I did
good,
watch
right?
it. Yeah, yeah. I watched that, and then Perth Scientology audit did a little protest within the same day or the next day. I watched her too.
Beforehand,
And
because
afterwards.
of so it was T and someone else. I always
Yeah.
forget her name. Anyway, they did it in Perth as well. I think it was because it was L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. It was around that date.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Oh. Question: pizza rolls with any kind of cheese? Both.
Yeah, both. But I love.
Well, I don't know
tomatoes
what
too.
pizza rolls are, but I'm gonna go for the pizza, and then I will have the soup as well, and any kind of cheese too. The stinkier, the better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like cheese in my. I don't know if I've ever had cheese in my tomato soup.
Well, tomato soup, I would say the best cheese to go in tomato soup would be cheddar, but strong
Cheddar.
cheddar is lovely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Pizza, mostly mozzarella. I know how to make pizza, and I grew up with Italian people, so I speak Italian too. And then when I speak Italian, I start to speak with my hands. Pizza, no pineapples on pizzas. You go to Italy, there's no blood. Okay, guys, that's an American thing. So no pineapples, but pizza, mozzarella, parmigiano, meatballs. What is the? Why am I asking my cat? I'm not getting an answer. What's this Italian sausage? Lots of garlic and onions, and perhaps
The
goat's
Italian
cheese. What did you say?
Were you asking a question about Italian sausage? Or
Yeah,
with
pepperoni.
Italian sausage?
I remembered. Yeah. I don't know why gin and tonica is asking that, but don't make me hungry. Erica 24. Question: how important your court cases are?
Well, I think that if they could prosecute me, some of the misdemeanor cases are most of them are with a megaphone, but some of them are without a megaphone. So they're basically trying in the misdemeanor cases to limit my ability to protest, and injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. And so it's important to show Scientology that we do have a right to protest. We also have a right to use a megaphone. At least in America, we have a right to use a megaphone. There's a time and manner for the use of a megaphone. You don't want to use it at night. But all my protesting out in DC has been with the megaphone. And even the last time I was there, the National Guard tried to tell me that there was a specific law that said I can't protest with a megaphone on the National Mall. And I looked at them and said, no, that's not true. I've used a megaphone here many times, and I could do that. And more importantly, though, the felony cases, they're taking cases that would be misdemeanors, that would be a $3 sign. When LAPD would not even, they would laugh at you if you said that it was $300. In fact, LAPD, when Laura got her tires slashed, they said that they won't even respond unless it's over $400 or $1,000 in damages. They won't even drive out there, that you just have to fill it out online. So the fact that they took a $3 sign and made that into a felony is very scary. And that means that they could arrest anybody protesting for just about anything and say it's a hate crime at the Church of Scientology. So yes, it's important for my own freedom, but it's important for anybody else who wants to protest Scientology.
Especially, you know, when they say you're disturbing religious, what was it? Religious.
Yeah, disturbing
They don't have
religious.
a chapel
Yeah, and
or
just so
any.
people, I was arrested twice for disturbing a religious proceeding,
Yeah.
but the charges that I have now, the 60 misdemeanors, none of them have that language in it. It's disorderly conduct and loud and rambunctious noise.
If we want to, especially in the middle of the day, that is taking a part of your freedom away too. That's not.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that makes me angry. Sorry. Okay, next one. I think Anne Catherine comment. I've been saying since after the DRO that you, Scott, will be the beginning of the end for the cult. They are so stupid that they judge a book by its cover. Yes, I agree. I think you play the clown a little bit, you're having fun at the same time, that they can do what they want with you. But they didn't realize that they were working with the force of nature, because you showed the you are in the right, and it's not finished yet. You're gonna get away with it, I'm pretty sure. We're all behind you anyway. Okay, I probably know. Doctor Who header. Scott, still no decision on Lord of the Rings versus Game of Thrones.
No, I can't quantify those two. It's an impossible
I
question
haven't
to
watched
answer.
either of it, so don't ask
Objection.
me.
Objection asked and answered.
I haven't watched. These are not kinds of things I watch. I like to watch fun stuff. I like to watch documentaries, especially about history and things like that. I like to watch a lot of things about, and because my dad was a young boy during the Second World War, and my dad was from Belgium. So compared to Switzerland, who is a neutral country, there was not much about war, even though that the Germans did bombard twice by mistake. But my dad, growing up in Brussels during the Second World War, seeing the Nazis coming into Brussels, going into buildings, check out, putting the books on fire and things like that, this has marked my dad a lot. My dad, we lost him 30 years ago. 30 years, but this, until the last day of his life, Second World War was always something he was talking about. And so I like to know more about what was going on. What else do I like? I like to laugh a lot.
That's good.
And I like making when I don't feel like it, but I don't. Give me a second. Oh, something new came in. I need to unstar them so I see the new ones. Give me a second. Yep. Here we go. Haggis Basher, hi. I love both, but the final episode of GOT, Games of Thrones, was shit, and LOTR, what contains the absolute beat movie kiss ever.
Game of Thrones is GOT, Lord of the Rings is LOTR. And yes, the final episode was shitty.
Contains the absolute beat movie kiss ever. I'm pretty sure I've seen better ones, but I don't know. Oh, there's a new one coming in. We'll never get. Who has time to watch series and movies? I'm busy with all the live streams. Well, like I said, I can't take anything more in about Scientology, about streams, about anything else. That's when I go somewhere else. I like to work. I go a lot on. No, it's on YouTube. Is a trial starting next week. So the first trial was last year and was declared a mistrial, and it's Massachusetts versus Karen Reed. And people around the world and around America see how badly the investigation went. The state of Massachusetts, the state police, the Commonwealth prosecutors. I mean, we see this all on YouTube live. Anyway, it's a long story. So I watched the first trial last year. Now we're starting the next trial next week. So it's the jury selection starting next week. And I don't think it's televised, so we won't see it until the trial starts, perhaps in 2-3 weeks properly. So, but there's motions coming out and they must be heard as well. So they are televised. So we've been watching a lot of that. So I'm concentrating on that once in a while. And then once in a while, I'll change back to Scientology just to change my brain and not to break down, to be honest with you. But normal television, I don't watch. I have Amazon. What else? Then all the free. I love to watch the Real Housewives of bloody blah, because I love their drama, because I don't have any at home, so I need to watch some overpriced women who have everything in life. And thank you very much. That gives me a good time. Yeah, I don't need to. And I can even watch the news on YouTube. I don't need normal television anymore. So anyway, okay, I'm scared to click on the live chat. 2 new comments. It's probably not for the two of us, you know that. Okay, I'm unstarring that. Gee, they are busy in that chat.
I bring chaos to the chat rooms.
I'm actually nearly speechless. No, I'm very rarely speechless, but I've never had a chat like this one. But it's nice to. Amy knows LTL Media. Yes, I know him. That's Brian, and then there is Mother Media, and then Jerks. Amy, who else? Nurse Kim. These are all the streamers that are. The movement is Free Karen Reed, Justice for John O'Keefe. So they're saying she killed her Boston police officer reversing back her Lexus into him, and he died in the cold in a blizzard, end of January 2022. But yeah, like I said, it's a long story, but it's actually quite fascinating, to be honest with you. And I watched the first trial last year without knowing the story at all. And I don't think I'm a stupid person, but after 10 weeks, and the prosecutor they had last year, he was so he had over 65 witnesses he interviewed. The defense ended up with 5.
Dang.
That was 10 weeks. So that was a long trial, you know. So this case is Massachusetts based. Yeah. Haggis Basher, I like the DOI guy, but he's a bit too flamboyant suddenly. I don't know. I don't. The lawyer, you know, I like him. The Greek guy, he's good, and I like when he does stuff with his dad. And Andrea Boer very good during the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Yes, and he covered the Johnny Depp one too. Yeah. Tilty says it's been over 2 hours. Oh yes, that's true. My brain is broken now. I think Scott's brain is broken too because he had to listen to me for.
No, I'm good. I had to come back into the RV to power up my battery. Right. My battery doesn't it charges, but it doesn't when I'm live streaming. If I don't have the fast charge, it can't keep up. It slow charges. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking about making some tomato soup right now.
But not Heinz.
Not Heinz? Why not Heinz?
The problem is with the ketchup either, and the only reason is because the amount of sugar that you find in ketchup and the tomato soup.
Campbell's?
Actually, tomato soup, instead of cheese, I remember as kids, you know, tomato soup is double cream. I know it's very fattening, but who the fuck cares, right?
Double
Nanya
cream,
says,
like full cream, not full cream, but yeah, like creamer.
not the entire pot, just oh. So there are other very good soup brands is Campbell's and Baxter's soup. My poor doggy down there, he's called Baxter. Kirby's mom minion shots sending us love. Haggis Basher said my mom put double cream in our soup. Yeah, we did too.
What is double cream? I don't understand what double cream is.
We call it. It's not milk. It's much more concentrated. Anyone in the
it's
chat?
like cooking cream. It's not like you have half and half, which is like I'm trying to think of the word. It's creamer, but it's
thick cream.
What is it?
Someone says thick cream.
Thick cream?
Heavy cream.
Heavy cream.
I'm just reading what heavy cream maybe.
Yeah, no, heavy cream is what it is. A lot of like Italian like they use it. I mean, all the real thick, savory dishes have that. The Italian dishes have the heavy cream.
Well, I call it double. I think here we call double cream is the cream that is the more fattening one, and then you have the
Yeah.
single cream, which is less. So here the double cream is red. I mean, not the cream is the color. I mean the packaging.
Yeah.
But it's also the cream you use to do make whipping cream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's called like whatever she said, and then half and half is what would be what you guys would call single cream, I guess. Then
Look who managed to join us, T. Per
oh, hey T,
Scientology addict.
we talked about you earlier here.
Yes, we did. Well, oh wait a sec. It's moving. I was reading something and then it is. Okay, people are starting to talk about food. I'm getting hungry again.
I'm cooking tomato soup right now as we speak.
As we speak. But you don't have any cream, right?
I don't have any cream.
Oh, well, next time you remember. Have you ever had oxtail soup?
Oxtail? No.
Oh, that's so good. You can buy it in sachets as well. Or when I go to France, I love French onion soup. I would kill
French
for
onion.
that.
Oh God, I love French onion soup. I worked at Bennigan's, it's a restaurant here, and like a chain restaurant, and we had like the most amazing French onion. Oh yeah, you have to have the bread and the cheese on it though.
And you know what my mom used to do in winter time, because when she didn't feel like, cooking, we still had to have something substantial in us, was she used to make a huge pot of Italian minestrone soup, put wieners in it as well. So
Wieners, hot dogs
in there, cooked with the minestrone soup. And then when that was finished, in the middle of the table, you had big chunks of farmer's bread with lots of butter, and then you would eat your soup with your wieners and your big, it's. But me being on my own, I don't do things like that because I'll be eating minestrone soup for 2 weeks afterwards.
It's hard to cook for yourself.
Oh yeah. I have 2 dogs sitting next to me, looking at me, waiting that I share my food. Do you think that they share their food when they're eating? No.
Selfish.
Oh, they are selfish, yeah. Buy your life. No one says, "Oh my God, bread." Oh yeah.
So, can I ask you a question?
You can ask me anything you want. Well, we'll see.
What was your favorite moment in the protesting in LA?
You have to ask that. For me, was the encampment and the convoy. That was
the convoy.
Oh, I loved it. I started in December to do a little video per, like an advance calendar video. mid-December
Okay.
because I couldn't get on. I couldn't find more material I wanted, but on one of them, I have the convoy. Yeah, for me, the convoy where everyone and everyone, the horns were honking, and it was great to see. And the people were writing on their cars, Scientology is a cult. They didn't care if it was looking good or not, as long as it was giving the info out. It was brilliant. I thought, and the encampment was like brilliant. In front of any church except Scientology.
Well, and I've just been cleaning out the storage the last 2 days, and I'm still emotionally upset about how all that went. And we've been paying for the storage, and I've been moving all that stuff around because there was a lot of stuff that was donated, and it's just been, I don't know, it's been emotionally hard for me.
Yeah, I believe you. Just quickly, bye, Tilty. Thank you for joining. Loved
Later,
having
Tilty.
you here. We'll send you some. Yeah, I believe you. That must have been tough. But still, you have managed something that no one else has managed until now. So there's another way to do something similar. Perhaps just not around the blue building.
No, I mean, I would love to do it again. I saved enough stuff to do it again. And I want to do it again. Even if it's just for 2 days.
Yeah. But I like the combination you did with feeding the homeless as well. I thought that showed, a message that you were not just only here to bash Scientology, but to do something good in the community.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of community that built was so amazing. And yeah, it was amazing. And hopefully maybe someday I could replicate that. We'll see. I know that, I mean, I'm dealing with litigation from it still. The planters, gave Audit and Mona and Miriam and Cajun Juju and Amy all the fuel they needed to call in and, really find out who's safe pointing the city of LA by how they've handled the planters being out in front.
Give me a second, just a second.
Yeah.
Open. It's okay, darling. You go to bed. Thank you for helping out tonight. I really appreciate you, Joe. And I'll speak to you soon. Sorry, that was, I'm just trying to amend the chat. It's not as fast as it was, but still. Here we go. I'm back on track. So here is a question for you from Dreamscape. Sorry. Question for DOA. What would you do differently in the next occupation?
Be real careful about who was in like the inner circle and who was running it. 1, 2, I wouldn't have any camping from like the unhoused. 3, Yeah, those two I think would like solve a lot of stuff. Is just you know, I really learned who I could trust and who I couldn't trust after the occupation. I feel like there's a lot of people that just weren't there for the right reasons. Let's just say that.
But you have to understand, once nothing is easy, and you can't always trust everyone. And sometimes the ones you think you can trust are the ones that are going to disappoint you. So sometimes you have to go with everyone, even if you don't want to. It depends if the Bunny. Sorry. I have learned in life that I've been always very trustworthy. I mean, I always trust everyone. And in the last 15 years, I changed a lot, because you can't trust everyone. And it's sad to say, and sometimes it's difficult to understand how to learn how to trust someone. People say, well, they have to prove to you that you can trust them. Lots of people can prove me whatever they want to prove. It gives me, or gives them, the right for me to trust them. And these days, we're in the 21st century. Trust is something that people are losing more and more. And I'm going to tell you why. I am on it like everyone else is on it, is social media. And you will always have two sides of the story, or shall we say, the pro and the anti of something. So if you do another encounter, perhaps the best thing is you run it, because you can trust yourself.
Yeah, well, and the encampment wouldn't have gone down the way it went down if they didn't file the restraining order on me. And then once that restraining order was filed, I lost control, and I couldn't get anyone that was I couldn't get anyone to do what I wished to be done. And that's where it all fell apart, because I was asking some very simple things and it wasn't happening. And so I lost complete control of it. And then once I lost complete control of it, then I felt that I was responsible for the people that were there who were trying to keep it going. And I felt like this huge, like I've never not slept. Like I've never been up and so anxious ever in my life. And I never want to go through that again. I've never felt that type of worry and fear. And it was fear for, I was just so afraid that Scientology and LAPD were going to somehow frame the people that were there by putting drugs in the tents, or there was just so many like possibilities in my head, and I had no control. I lost complete control and I couldn't physically go over there. So, and I felt a responsibility to everyone who had given money for everything that was there. And like I not only did I not sleep for the 3 days of the encampment, the next couple of days I also didn't sleep. And just because I was so worried, it was awful. I would never want to go through what I went through mentally ever again like that.
No, that's what T says. No tents next time. I agree.
Yeah, no tent.
No tents. And Nanya says, yes, Fito did not like the kindness. That's true, because they are not kind. We saw it with the LA fires, right? They were just there, but they didn't do very much. Gin and Tonica says, True Scott had barbecue, bringing everyone together. Um, oh, thank you, Amy. Amy says, I'm really enjoying this interview. Thank you. I am enjoying it too. I think that's the longest one I did. Are you okay, Scott? You tell me when you're fed up.
No, I had to get some tomato soup in me. You guys were talking about tomato soup, and I'm good. I'm hanging out.
I had
You
the
got
rice cake. Oh no, for me, it's always priority in my household is that this tree, the two dogs and the cat have eaten, and then I eat when I'm hungry, and it's they have eaten. But when I go live, that's when they don't fall asleep. Bonnie's whinging again. Go to bed, Jojo. I see you still here.
When did you get involved in the whole Scientology stuff?
Well, okay, so I knew about Scientology for quite a long time. I mean, I went to London when I turned 20 to learn. I already spoke English because I heard English since I was little from, because my parent emigrated to Australia. They had a lots of English speaking friends. So we were always surrounded by English speaking people, and I've been able to speak it really. But in school, it was mandatory to go to the English classes. And then I wanted to go to London. So I went to London. I was 20, went to school, seriously, perhaps for a month or so. And then I met my best friend, Jean Paul, at all the gay clubs in London. And one day we were walking down Tottenham Court Road, and there's one of the Scientology bookshops there, and they invited us in for the personality test. And, a young woman, thank you, I would like to do it. And my friend Jean-Paul said, no, they are a cult. And I said, who cares? I just want to do the test. We have to wait off these people anyway. So we did the test. And Jean-Paul, while we had to watch the movie, while they were assessing our test results, Jean-Paul said, look, I'm 6 foot, I'm brilliant. And because you're a small person, they're going to tell you, you're in the dumpster, you're depressed, etc. I said, oh, we're going to have a good laugh. And it's exactly what they told us with our test results. I was practically on death's door. Jean-Paul was brilliant, and they wanted to become a student. I have no money. Gave them a bogus address and buggered off. So that was my encounter with Scientology face to face. Then I didn't think about it for a long time. Then I started to get interested in cults again when, I think it was in the 90s when before I moved to the UK. So about 30 years ago, the cult of the Solar Templar committed mass suicide in Switzerland and at the same time in Canada. And that was such a shock because Switzerland is such a small country. We never seen something like that. And there were children. Obviously, the children didn't commit suicide. Their parents killed them. And that's when I started to get interested in cults to understand how come normal, intelligent people can get into something like that. And that wasn't the cult that existed for so long that there were many people or grown-ups that were raised or born. And then during the pandemic, I came across a few channels and I watched there and then, but without, and then I came across, I watched, no, that was before the pandemic. I watched, obviously, a vision company called Sky, and I came across the Aftermath series from Leah Remini, and I was like, oh wow, because I knew Scientology was a cult, but I didn't know anything about abuse, etc. Even though during the I think there were 2 seasons, I don't remember they talking about child abuse, but there were abuse, and that's when I got a bit more into it. But it came into phases, I had work, I had this, an ex-husband that was annoying me, life. And then 2 years ago, I came across Growing and others, and the protest in that was beginning of last year. I ended up watching more of the protests in LA. That's when I knew about it, and you suddenly, yeah, that's what I like to see, and that's how I got into it. And then I lost my job in February, officially finished in April. And I was like, what am I going to do? And that's when I contacted Flo. Do you need help with the website, etc.? And that's when I decided, you know what? Why not having my own channel and try it? I'm not really here to do lots of subscribers. I just want to get the word out, to get more former Scientologists in Europe to speak out, and then later on can contact governments and things like that. I mean, there are some horrendous stories from Belgium, France. It's unbelievable that people don't talk about. So I want to go into it, but it takes time. And at the moment, I have this temporary job do from home, so it takes me over an hour to get into Edinburgh, over an hour at home to get home in the evening. So when I come home, I take care of the dogs, I take them out, and then it's my time. So there's not much time left to watch all the channels. And I'm not always interested in everything that everyone does. You would need 48 hours in one day and not 24, if you know what I mean, if not more, because it's so much to watch. And I have other interests too that I don't want to lose either. So I'll try my best, shall we say it like that? That's my way of protesting, in a way. And having good people to come on that agreeing to be interviewed. I mean, I've tried to get some former Scientologists from America to again. They don't realize that here in Europe we need these former Scientologists from America, because they are so outspoken, to come to our European channels and talk with us and being interviewed, so that other former Scientologists here in Europe understand, hey, I can talk, I can finally perhaps be a little bit free. I've been declined so many times that I have stopped emailing some of them, but I'm going to have to be a bit tougher and continue I might get an RO
Yeah,
for
it's
stalking.
the being persistent with trying to get, reaching out to people and reaching out to somebody on Facebook. He was supposed to call today. I haven't heard from him yet today. A former Scientologist. So, and I've sent him like 4 or 5 messages on Facebook Messenger trying to arrange an interview. So that's how you get interviews, though. You have to be, just got to keep on it until they, till they see that you're very interested in it. Because a lot of people will reach out and they're just not really interested in it. Who reaches out numerous times, they're interested in it. They're interested in what you have to say.
That makes sense. That makes
it's
sense.
almost lazy just to ask one.
Yeah, perhaps I should try that again. The thing is, you see, is that what bothers me more, the former Scientologists are working together or interviewing each other, and that's not what they should be doing. They should give their voices to other channels that are somewhere else than in America. And but then you have former Scientology that nothing wrong about it, but collaborating together when they should collaborate with other parts of the world, if you understand what I mean.
I agree 100%.
Well, they should. It would be
100%.
nice if they. But you're right. Like what I'm doing with Piers Morgan. Perhaps one day he will say, "Okay, I'm fed up with her emails. Let's see what she has to say."
That's how you gotta do it. The squeaky wheel either gets to oil or gets replaced.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna start that. I'm glad I told you that. I will start again and bug them. I might get arrested for stalking.
No, because just when they tell you to stop messaging, that's when you stop messaging. But until you get that stop messaging, and try to come at it a bunch of different angles. I don't know. I've been doing this to this former Scientologist. I've reached out like 5 times. So and same for me. If someone just asked me once, it's like, okay, well, I might see it, be like, all right, maybe, and then you forget about it because there's 100 other things that are going on. And then I see the message again, and then I see it again, and then again, and then on the 4th or 5th time, it's like, all right, cool, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start that again. I thought I was gonna have someone else to interview tomorrow, but I didn't get if that's gonna happen. And then I have reached out to someone else, but they are no former Scientologists, but they are people I like what they're doing, and yeah, I want to talk to them, know them. So we'll see, or we will have to wait and see if it happens. You see, my smoker thing is starting.
That means it's time for a cigarette.
Yeah, but I don't want to smoke. I shouldn't have mentioned it. You cheeky monkey.
Hey, we're all entitled to our opinions.
Look at that. I managed to get Crackhead Kenny in my chat. Look. You probably understand what it means. I don't.
I'm not even sure if that's really him or not.
I haven't read that. So there were also a lot of alpha dogs or too many cooks in the kitchen. I would have called it differently, Bridget, but yeah, so to speak, everyone's power was clashing, if that makes. That's about the encampment. I totally agree. Yeah. Especially the ones who hardly did something or helped had big. I feel there were people there to destroy from within. Probably. I didn't notice that, to be honest. I looked at good side, and because in between we had the convoy as well, which was so enlightening. It was so fun. I really enjoyed watching that. I wish you had instead of the encampment, really. Okay. Adrian says, loved it, Bridget. I don't know what you did love, but thank you. uh, oh, that's not for me. Sorry. That's my best friend, Jean Paul. And he's not an SP. He's from Switzerland. He has no clue about anything what I'm doing here. Who's that? Hello, Gabrielle. Jersey will be free from the river to the sea. Okay. Does that ring a bell to you?
That's they're trying to be real funny and creative. That's a Palestinian thing, a free Palestinian thing, but Jazzy's are my family cat that people have been threatening to eat for the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah, I heard. Oh, well, that's the reply. Gabrielle, if you're here to cause trouble, I never have troubles in my chat. If I see another message from, block you from my channel, okay? We don't do nasty in my chat. Thank you very much. I don't like being tough, but it has to be done, and it's my house. Okay, what? My cousin once said, I would like to join a cult just to check it out. I told her, you are just the person they are looking for if you willingly go in. She did know. Oh, I thought, what the heck? Better not go in and better not to find out. I mean, after the Solar Templar committed this mass suicide, and one of a former member of that cult that left perhaps a few months, 6 months before that all happened. He was French, and he wrote a book. And I bought the book because he was a doctor or a dentist. And I'm like, intelligent man, went to university, not everyone can be a dentist, right? It's like being a doctor. And I'm like, get into this cult. So I read his book. I still don't have the answer, to be honest with you, because we have a very intelligent man on television here in the UK. He's called Stephen Fry. He's also an actor, and but he's extremely intelligent. And he did once cults. He said about people that are very intelligent and joining cults, it's because they are bored with what they have, with what the surroundings are, and they're looking for something different, something more appealing. And that's very often these people that end up in cults and not actually. And that made me think. I still don't get it, but anyway. So, thank you, Bridge, for telling your story. You're welcome. Told you so many stories that I forgot. I talk too much. And you're too kind to me, Scott. You know, not once you told me to shut up.
I'll
Hi,
get yelled at.
Yeah, Fluffer, if you're tired, you really can go to bed. She's so kind. Yes, please hit the like button.
Get that like 12 away.
No, it's true. I think the most likes I had was around 28 and 30. And I had to say in other streams, because I always thought if I ever have my own YouTube channels, I will never ask people to subscribe and like and things like that. And then I had my YouTube. I can't say that because otherwise my stuff doesn't get out there, right? And because of the algorithm and everything, because I'm an IT person, I have technology in my head, right?
Yeah.
So I understood analytics and I'm like, oh shit, I have to ask and I have to say. And then I realized that you get bad views when people actually start to give you a dislike on a video. So I had to start telling them, if you don't like what I'm telling you, unsubscribe and leave my videos, but don't dislike my videos. It messes my algorithm. Since then it has stopped, but I don't want to tell people what to do. But look, if you don't like what I say, or when I have fun, or if you don't share my opinion, I always say everyone is entitled to their opinions and everyone should respect other people's opinion. We need the same page whatsoever, but respect people's opinions and be respectful to everyone in my chat. So until now, I didn't have a problem. So it's the first time, again, that I had to tell someone off in my chat. Thank you, Scott.
Good.
Well,
I'm the one that'll bring that.
yeah, but because I wanted to know you, nothing else. And I don't think anyone has ever tried to understand or to interview you to find out who you are, because they all think in watching you a little bit on that stream and a little bit on that stream and a little bit there that they know all about you. No, that's not true. And you showed tonight or afternoon where you are that who you are, and such a bad bloke, really. Are you falling asleep?
A little bit. We were
I don't know.
we were at Laura's show. We were at Laura's show till like 2:30 last night, and I'm not much of a late night owl, not like I used to be years ago.
Don't tell me. After 10 o'clock in the evening, I'm like, I can't go out any. And I used to love drinking alcohol, but not in a sense of I don't like being drunk. I'm not saying I've never been drunk. I have been in the past, but with age, my new favorite drink is it. But when I go out, it's just a few. I just don't like to be drunk. That's finished. I'd rather have a good meal.
Yeah, I usually have a few drinks and then I like get tired or just want to go to sleep, and so I kind of like being a little like tipsy, and it's hard for me to get tipsy. I got a little tipsy last night. I was drinking Long Island's, and I don't remember the last time I did Long Island's. It had to have been 5 to 10 years since I've had a Long Island. but
What's in Long
I had a
Island?
couple Long
Rum?
Island. It's like a mix of a bunch of drinks: rum, tequila, vodka, gin.
Ooh,
It's a mix of all of them.
that's not good. You get pissed very quickly, Lina. You should.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't agree with
I had
cocktails that mixing all together.
yeah, I just I got a little smiley and that was it. And I didn't drive, so
You know, I've been to Vegas a few times. The first 2 times I was working for, they had a company university there, and we all had to go there when we joined the company. And we went to the Margarita bar at the Flamingo.
okay.
Is it the Flamingo? Yeah. The bar is at the corner of Flamingo. And the first thing you see when you get into the bar is this huge cocktail glass up to the ceiling, and then you have a sexy lady sitting in there in a bikini, and I'm like, I don't want to drink that drink because you never know.
Yeah.
You know, I think ahead. I always think ahead. So I okay, it's 3 hours is not bad without sleeping. So that was the first, aha moment. I'm in Las Vegas, right? The third time I went to Las Vegas was for, I got married in Las Vegas in in the helicopter above the strip at 8 o'clock in the
Oh,
evening.
really? Interesting.
It was a package thing. And so we had, in the package, you had the helicopter, the training before you go in, the photographer, the guy who married you, and obviously the pilot. And the photographer said to me before we went into the helicopter, he said, you see this guy who is marrying you? He married Angelina Jolie and her, oh, bloody hell, they're divorced now. I hope it's not a bad omen. And he says, no, I'm divorced now. I should go back to Vegas and ask for a refund. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go back to Las Vegas next year with my brother. He's never been. And because I'm turning a round number, I thought perhaps I should go with him and he will enjoy it. Perhaps he will. I have 100 likes now, Scott.
Good.
Fluffer has been pushing them to
So, can you tell my audience a little about the Scientology page?
Yeah, I can. Obviously, most people know it before it was sptv.space. It still exists as is, but we wanted to make people understand that we had nothing to do with SPTV as such and had no affiliates with the foundation. Fluffer was saying, well, you don't do enough or haven't done enough to be on the page yet, to run to Aircell to say, she's not taking me on, and nothing to do with that. So this was changed to Sciento page. You still have the menu at the top where you can go to the resource page, which I'm editing. At the moment, it's very quiet because no one is submitting any requests for resources, etc. So, and with the job I'm doing at the moment, I just don't have time to do myself research, but we put up books that people might be interested in. I added also to the site that, for example, if I add a book that is written in French only, you will see that it's in French or in German or Italian or whatever language.
Mm.
What else? We have Scientology did for the Scientology chat GPT. Another thing about fsciento.space, if you really want to be up there when you go live, make sure that you have in your description or in the subject line #fsciento or #Scientology, and then you will pop up as a channel that is live at the moment. And then you will have the rest is the same as the other one was. We just wanted a different name.
I like the rebranding. I think it was a good idea.
Yeah. The thing is, the rest, like resources, is still resources.sptv.space, and that is more a technical thing that Xenius she's the webmaster and owns the page, who couldn't change the name. So fsciento.space is a separate page.
Yeah.
So it's all, and also if people do support fsciento.space, please buy Xenius some coffees, because she's paying out of her pocket the domain name, etc. So now she's paying 2 domain names. So thank you, Fluff. Did you put this up? I don't know what I'm doing, Scott. I know. That's me.
Well,
Irish is still here.
I think I'm ready to call it quits here.
Yes, you're falling asleep.
I'm falling
I will
asleep.
email you
I don't want
a
to fall
few
asleep on the
things.
stream with you.
Sorry?
I don't want to fall asleep on you. I'm like, I ate that tomato soup and I'm like, oh, I need a little nappy poo.
Well, hey, excuse me. You know what time it is? It's nearly 10 past midnight.
Yeah, it's almost your birthday.
It is my birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday right now?
Well, wait a second. I was born in Sydney, Australia at midnight. Now, what time is it in Sydney now? What time is it in Sydney, Australia now? It's 11:08.
So you got
morning. So 11:09 a.m. So in 1 hour and 20 minutes, it will be my birthday.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thanks for having me on. I
appreciate it very much. I enjoy that. We should do it again. And I will send you a picture of my beach here in Scotland, so you will come and visit.
Well, I'll see if I'll talk to Laura and maybe see if Laura would maybe do an interview with you, so you get an ex-Scientologist on there, and maybe even Liz.
Great.
We'll see if Liz
I
Ferris.
didn't email Liz yet because I know she was doing the school, etc., and beforehand she was not well. But perhaps it is time. But that would be nice. Thank you very much.
I'll reach out to both of them. I'll let them know and see if I can arrange something for you. Help you out.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And you go and have your afternoon. And
Thank you.
I'll email you soon. And for everyone who is wishing me a happy birthday, thank you very much, everyone. I let you go. I'm gonna finish a little bit with the chat now.
Okay.
And
Thank
then
you,
I'm gonna
chat.
finish. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Much love.
Thank you. Bye. Et voilà.
Voila.
Et voilà. Okay. Fluffer, look at that. Thank you so much. You can stay on if you want. You can go. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you did tonight. Irish Mart, thank you so much. Our lovely Jojo has left already because she's not very well. So I just want to just go through. Oh, I have 2 more start comments. I'm so sorry. Okay. Hackers, I apologize. I missed that, but I wouldn't have asked that to Scott because for me, children and family is a big no-no. Unless you willingly want to talk about it. I didn't want to ask him anything about family. So, and that one I see I've shown. So, oh, okay. I know, guys, I shouldn't smoke, but I still have a little bit of adrenaline. This was a really good interview. I really enjoyed that. Actually, I think I managed to do it. Look, I'm not a professional interviewer, but I wanted to see the man behind DOA, Defender of France. I wanted to know Scott and not DOA, if you know what I mean. And I think we managed well to get to know him. Perhaps we can do another one in a few about sorry, the legal issues that in a few months are behind him and what is coming in the future, you know, so things like that. So we'll try that if he's willing to come back. I totally agree with you. I'm upset I didn't show that when he was still here. But he still can come back and check out the chat. Oh, hi, is it Crimson? I see your name in lots of chats. Nice to see you here. We have some telepathic, but it's in the works. I don't know. Jin, you should Google him debating the Catholic Church, him and Christopher Hitchens. Who do you mean with him? Look, I'm Catholic. I didn't choose my religion, and yeah. And I had a friend in Switzerland who, it's a sad story. There were 4 kids between the age of 5 and 10, something like that. So my friend was the oldest, he was 10. So their mom committed suicide. The dad had to go to work. He didn't get over the loss of his wife, ended up giving his children away to social services. Now, in those days, you know, people might think Switzerland is rich. Yeah, the country is rich, but social services and things like that, there's not always lots of money pumping around. So anyway, he ended up being with monks, and they did him wrong. I'm not going to say the word, I suppose you can imagine. So that is the Catholic Church, and it's happening all over the world. He was 10 years old, young boy. So, I'm going through this. And we have another Bridget in the chat. Best name in the world. Oh, Matt, hi. Yes, that's coming. I was just saying it's in the works. Thank you very much. I'll be going live again today. I will do my birthday batch. A little bit of Scientology. I want to talk about dwarfism, and then we'll have a laugh. So, but it's not going to be as late as today. So probably between 7 and 8 p.m. UK time. Have a gin. I don't like gin. Me is vodka. Black, he was in that years ago. Really funny. Sadly, yes, got Parkinson's. Blackadder's. Who was in Blackadder's and has Parkinson's? I liked Blackadder's. Well, he doesn't have he doesn't have Parkinson's. And then there was, the actor who played Dr. House. Wasn't he in Blackadder? And then the small guy who played, who presented Time Team is in Blackadder's. He's his Larky. And then, no, perhaps not Dr. House, not him. Thank you, Irish Smart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Look good, this old granny in the house. Long Island, I'm sorry. All this hard liquor in one drink, that's way too. One drink I really liked was the... I forgot the name. I like Bloody Marys too. But what I don't like is the spices. Just a second. Bonnie, out of the kitchen. Thank you. 10 minutes and we go to bed. Okay, come on. Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Love the name. I noticed today I got an email telling me you subscribe to my channel before you even know me. So thank you for joining. Very much appreciated. Bonnie, if you go back in that kitchen, it's not going to be a good start to tomorrow's day. Be a good girl now. You look very comfy. I don't know who you're telling that to, kitchen. Oh, does that mean our kitchen sink? Oh, gee. Oh, leave my blanket alone. Gee. She likes my electric blanket. Stephen Fry. Was Stephen Fry in Blackadder? Oh, yes, you're right. He was. He was. I forgot about that. Yeah. JKSRY. Guys, I'm not good with abbreviations, so I can't. I have no relation. I emailed him and Leah before last year, but they never replied. So yeah, but hey, I got married in a helicopter at 8 o'clock in the evening, so flying above the strip with all the casino lights up. That was amazing. Mm. Train spotters. The first movie, or the one that was done a few years ago. Oh, and Katrina, you have Katrin, a chat. I am sorry if I say it wrong. Can I say Anne Catherine? Or in French, Anne Catherine? Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate you. Don't work too hard tomorrow, okay? And thank you for saying it was a good interview. I appreciate. Thank you. Oh, pardon me. Oh, you see everyone saying good night. Oh, seriously? That is it's a record. And I mean, we are 3 hours and 23 minutes in, and I have 59 people watching. In my life, I have a peak of 12 to 13 people. When I have interviewed people, I had a bit more. But today, that is a new thing for me. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you, Adrian, for letting me know. Gin and Tonica says this was a great stream. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Holly. On, I just want to say that Mike Brown dropped a video yesterday. If anyone needs a reminder of why we are all here, thanks for the great interview. Oh, thank you very much for letting me know. I am subscribed to his channels, but as you all know, there are glitches with YouTube and notifications. I'm gonna look into it tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Fluffer, I agree. But at the moment, I just don't have the time. So, but something will be done as soon as I finish this contract, and it seems to be never. Thank you, Irish. well, Scott has is gone and has his nap. We were talking about food and tomato soup. He made one, and then I could see that he was falling asleep. I don't think I have ever seen someone falling asleep or nearly falling asleep while I was talking. So that's a new one as well for me. But good for him. I'm tired too. So I'm gonna have to end it here. And everyone who is wishing me a happy birthday, thank you so much, very much, very much. I appreciate that. And Bridget, never in from PA as well, thank you. Haggis Basha, as always, lovely to see you in my chat. Thank you. Thank you, Gin and Tonica, Nico. Oh, Nico, I didn't see you here. Oh, love you. Lovely to see you. Holly, thank you. Nanya, thank you. Thank you. Jody, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Matt, thank you very much. Next is you. I'm a kind woman. I do my best. I can be nasty, but only with people that are nasty to me. Bridget, I had a bit of a health scare this week, so I cut down extremely, but I needed one. So after three plus hours, I enjoyed it really, even though I didn't even finish it in. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm amazed how lovely you all are. I hope the new people that have turned up today. Oh, Christina, merci beaucoup. If you come back, look, it's not that I'm not talking about Scientology. I will always, but I always try to have a little bit of a light heart, a bit of fun, and my chat is always loving, kind to each other, and respectful to each other. And especially that is my main thing, is respect each other's opinions. Everyone is entitled to their own. So for me, it was a new thing to tell someone off here. So in her in the chat anymore. So she left, or someone blocked her for me. I don't know. Haggis Basher, Tony Robinson. He's the one who also he hosted the Time Team. That's an English archaeological. I love to watch that. I think if I hadn't been so technical and didn't go into IT, I probably would have done something like that. But then I don't like dirty nails and things like that. I'm a bit strange when it comes to that. Hi, Vegas Andrews. Thank you for joining, but we're going to finish soon. So, midnight in the UK. Gin and Tonica, I would hide the clocks at the weekends too. But you know what? My animals have internal clocks, so I never get away with it. Bye, Fluffer. Good night, and thank you so much for helping out. I really appreciate it. I'm just gonna finish. I guess it was a simple wedding. We eloped to Vegas. There was just the pilot, the guy who married us, and the photographer, and the helicopter, actually. But that was a good moment, yeah. Everything that came afterwards was just rubbish. Not long after. GSP, thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you. Bridget, I don't take it personally. No, it was just, I thought it was funny because I first didn't know if he had a few glitches. I wasn't sure if he was just quickly frozen. But then when he says, no, I am actually nearly falling asleep, I'm like, oh. But I don't take it personally. And Irish is telling me, new record, 119 likes. Blimey. My algorithm is going to go bananas. It will not know what to do with all this new information. So I'm at the bottom of the chat. Guys, I so much appreciate that you look. After 3.5 hours, I still have 44 viewers. I don't get it, but thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. I love you all. Me again, perhaps tomorrow. I will try not to do a too long one because it will be only me, but let's have a little birthday bash and talk a bit about a few things, and then we go our ways, right? Yeah. So thank you, Fluffer. Thank you, Ari. I know Jojo has left already, but thank you, Jojo, as well, for helping me out. I'm glad I had Fluffer in the back end here. She started the question and comments because it went too fast, concentrating on what Scott was saying, and I did sometimes look because I get distracted quite easily. And hey, I'm a woman. I'm meant to multitask, right? So anyway, good night, everyone, and